So in this video, I'm basically going to talk about my journey with Tourette syndrome and how basically I managed to be able to relax, control them in different situations, and hopefully I could teach you some of the ways. So if you're a parent, your kid has Tourette's, maybe your friend has Tourette's, maybe you are watching this and you have Tourette's, hopefully some of the stuff I learned throughout the years can help you out. So I just want to start this video by saying there's no medication, there's no amount of therapy that you could go to that will help you deal with your Tourette's. I mean, I've been taking plenty of medication throughout the years. I've been going to therapy for a whole year straight, non-stop, and nothing pretty much changed. It was still the same. Tourette's is basically a thing that you have to learn to deal with yourself. You have to learn to hold in. It's like a sneeze. You know, it comes sometimes out of nowhere. You just have to learn to hold in and just fight through it. So yeah, I just want to get that over with. So I basically had Tourette's since I was 5. Started off pretty small, you know, eye blinking. I was shrugging my shoulders quite a lot. And then over the years, it progressively started getting worse. From around 12 to 16, that was when I was going through puberty. And that's when, obviously, you're more emotional. Your hormones everywhere. I was more, stressed, more hyper, just in general. Everything was more frequent. So my tics were pretty much at the worst. I was shouting, screaming, swearing, punching, slapping, repeating over people every single day for 3-4 years straight, non-stop. So that was my life every single day. So I had to learn to hold them in and control them in different situations, because obviously at that time I had exams, GCSEs coming up. I had to learn to hold them in, and just in general in public, when I was playing football, I had to learn to focus and not basically do them, since obviously during games my tics went to always make me trip over, just kick the ball randomly anywhere. So I had to hold them and basically not just ruin the game for myself, but ruin the game for my whole team. So that's why I had to learn to hold them in. And I'm sure if you have Tourette's, you want to learn to hold them in as well and relax. You know, if you go somewhere out with your mates or just in general, you want to, you don't want really people looking at you. Because even though over those years I've basically kind of got used to it and didn't really care, it still obviously disturbs other people and, kind of ruins your day as well. So it's quite important to learn to hold them in, even though it's not easy and it's not enjoyable either. Still quite important, since you might be going on flights to different countries, and obviously during those few hours of flying, you don't want to be shouting constantly, screaming. I was always basically kicking the chair, so whoever was sitting in front of me basically didn't have the best flight. So yeah, I just had to learn and to relax. So if you don't know what tics are, Tourette syndrome, it's basically a neurological condition that causes you to basically make sounds, movements, and anything that, for me, for example, my tics always wanted me to get basically embarrassed and hurt pretty much. So if I, for example, see a knife, which wasn't really, if I see a knife obviously, or fire, I would always want to put my hand in it, or just something so I could burn myself, injure myself. So same, in football I used to run, and my tics always used to want to basically trip me over. So I guess different people have different tics. For me, my tics always wanted to embarrass me and injure me. So that was basically me for a few years, and I did end up getting a lot of injuries. I used to twist my ankle. Just in general, I used to run, and my tics used to, just trip me over. I kind of used to twist my ankle with Tourette's. So yeah, I had to basically deal with it and get used to it, which is not really a fun thing to say, because I don't really think anyone should get used to it. And I didn't really want to get used to it. And my parents didn't really want me to get used to it as well, because at some point you just start making sounds and movements and you don't really realize you're doing them. So it's not a good thing, since everyone else is, realizing you are doing it. I know you're doing it. And so some of the ways that helped me deal with my Tourette's, one of them was meditation. And I know it might sound boring, because it was for me. I never really enjoyed meditation, but whenever I did do it, it made a huge impact. I went from, shaking, swearing, basically shouting, to practically making no sounds, quiet, fully relaxed. So that made a big difference. And I just wanted to say, if you try to do meditation and it doesn't work out for you the first time, because it never worked out for me, it usually takes me around 5-10 minutes to even relax, to even actually focus, instead of already 5-10 minutes being in meditation. I just started, actually being able to focus. So if it doesn't work out for you first time, don't get too harsh on yourself, because I found it really hard. Some days, obviously, it's easier than others. It depends on your emotions. It depends how you're feeling that day. It depends how you're feeling that month. What happened that exact day. There's many small factors that go into it. Even that same exact hour, you might just all of a sudden start feeling more, hyper, more stressed for some reason. So it just all depends, And the second thing that really helped me out, which I used to do with my family, which I think could make a really big difference if you actually do it quite a bit. So what me and my parents used to do, for example, my mom used to sit on one side, and my dad and my sister, for example, used to sit on the other side of the bed. And my mom used to put a timer on, and my dad and my sister used to basically say certain stuff, do certain movements that might trigger my tics, or I might be doing something quite a lot that specific week, like a certain movement. They do it over and over again. My mom used to time me, and first time I'd last 10 seconds, and after that I had to try 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5, 10, until I lasted 40 minutes. That was my biggest time. So being able to go from just a few seconds to almost an hour, which is for me big achievement, since I'm not really able to hold in for that long. And ever since then I was basically able to hold in, even if I had really, really, really bad tics, I was still basically able to hold in for a few minutes. So it does take time. It does take a lot of practice. I've been doing that for, me and my parents used to do it for months. It doesn't always happen straight away. Some days, obviously, you might last 1 week, you might last 20 minutes. Next week, you'd only last 5 minutes. Because, again, depends how you're feeling that week, what happened that week. You might be more stressed, more hyper, more, angry. Just all depends. So, and even certain tics are much easier to do than others. For example, like a tic like a punching tic will be much easier to hold in than something for me like a small tic, like a eye blinking, for example, tic. So it all depends. Some tics are easier to hold in than others. So yeah, if you're a parent and your kid has Tourette's, I think that's a really, really good practice to do for them to hold in. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I just wanted to start making a few videos, basically share some information that pretty much helped me in the past, and hopefully can help you.